Hi there, Tiffany here with Years of Years, and it's another This Day in Disney, April 29th, and today we're going to start off talking about a short, but not a Mickey short, actually a Pluto short. And this short is called Pluto Sweater, and it was released on April 29th in 1949. In this short, Minnie actually knits Pluto's sweater, and he does not want to wear this sweater. It's knitted, and it's gonna cover his entire body, and it's pink. So she gets it on him pretty forcibly, and then tells him he needs to go outside and wear his sweater so he can be warm outside because it's cold. So he doesn't want to go outside with the sweater on, but she gets him out there, and he is pretty much made fun of right away and goes through a lot of ruckus to try to get the sweater off in the process, and it's pretty cute. It actually reminds me of another sweater short from the current Mickey shorts, Couples Sweaters. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's pretty hilarious, and it reminds me of just how itchy and awful it is to wear a sweater sometimes, especially a wool sweater. And even though it's cold outside, you're just itchy and uncomfortable. While in this short, Minnie wants to wear the couple sweaters with Mickey, and the animation on it is pretty grueling of what this sweater is physically making Mickey feel. So totally two opposite time periods, years and years apart, but interesting to watch both. So you can actually check both of those out on Disney Plus. They're both on there right now. And next up on This Day in Disney, in 1983, on this day, Something Wicked This Way Comes was released. This is a Ray Bradbury book that was put to film. He actually was part of the doing the screenplay for it and producing it. But I watched the preview for it today, and ooh, it gave me chills. It's definitely, I think it's a horror slash fantasy, even though it's got a PG rating, but kind of along the lines of Twilight Zone or maybe Goosebumps a little bit, but it's definitely one of those more anxiety scary movies. It's set in autumn in a small town in Illinois. I'm very familiar with autumns in Illinois. In fact, I love that feeling when the trees are so beautiful and the pumpkins are ready. Autumn is a great time to be in that state for sure. So there's two boys who I think their names are Will and Jim, and they've had detention for whispering in class, and as soon as they leave detention, they're on their way home, but then they see that a carnival has come to town, Mr. Dark's Pandemonium Carnival, and they want to head over and check out this carnival right away. So I haven't seen this movie, but Brad has, and he was super excited about it when we were talking about it today. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. When I was researching it, all I could find, the only place that that you can watch it is on YouTube, and it's not a very good quality, but I'm hoping that maybe Disney Plus will release it at Halloween time in the fall. That would be really fun. It looked interesting and captivating, so I think it'd be worth watching in the future. I'm definitely a fan of Ray Bradbury, especially with, speaking of Halloween, Halloween Tree. That's something we've read and sometimes watched around the Halloween season, and that's a fun story of his. He's a great writer, and apparently worked on a lot of films. This one, there was some production issues back and forth on whether or not, I think there was a time period that he wasn't part of the production. It seems like Disney wanted to tone it down and not make it so scary. So there was a battle there, and even the music had to be scrapped at one point, and they had to come up with a whole new film score or music score for the film. And all of it ended up costing, I read, $5 million to get it how they wanted it to be. So I don't know if they recouped all that, but anyway, I'm looking forward to watching it. And as far as my knowledge from Brad, it's a great movie. So maybe go check it out now or when it's Halloween time. Also, it was released in April. I think I would have waited till, October. I think that would have been a good time to release it. And then lastly, on this day in 2009, so if you don't know already, I'm sure many of you do, that back in 1955, Walt Disney started a tradition of window dedications on Main Street at Disneyland. And it was his way of saying thanks for great people, Imagineers, engineers, all these different people who worked for Disneyland and the parks and everything that they did. Well, Disneyland at the time. So this has become a tradition, and usually I've heard of it, and I think it's called Windows on Main Street now by most people. And what happened was dozens of people have become proprietors of a fictitious business. So their window is up above different stores and you have to look for them, both in Magic Kingdom, well, all the parks when you're walking down Main Street. So on this day in 2009, Raleigh Crump and Don Edgren both received their being recognized as Disney legends. So I went and checked it out. You can look up on Wikipedia. Actually, there is an entire list of all the people who have gotten their windows on Main Street. That is a fun thing to check out, so I'd encourage you to go do that. Wally Crump's inscription was above the Fargo's Palm Parlor, and it said, "Predictions that will haunt you bizarre, whimsical and weird, designs to die for. Roland F. Crump, assistant palm reader." So he worked for Walt Disney Imagineering and became a designer for many beloved rides at Disneyland, one of those being the Haunted Mansion. And that's a long saga of a story of those Imagineers who worked on it. But he was definitely one of them, and maybe we'll talk about that in another This Day in Disney. But he also worked on the Enchanted Tiki Room, Adventureland Bazaar, and then Don Egren's window says, "Yes Men Engineering Associates, no challenge too big for our yes men. We know, no, no. Don Egren, Chief Engineer." So I'm guessing that was a nod to his personality. Apparently, he didn't like to say no very often. He was a yes man, but he was an engineer for Disney, and he worked for the Disney Company on rides such as Pirates of the Caribbean, and then he actually worked at Walt Disney World in Magic Kingdom. He worked on the first Space Mountain. So he was engineering and working on those great rides that are still going today. So he must have been great at his work. Those window names, I think they're really clever. So I would encourage you to go check them out and have fun. Go watch those shorts if you have time today, and enjoy that if you can find it. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Lots of fun things to do and watch and learn right now while we don't have a chance to be in the parks, but we can learn so much about them and spark our own imagination. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.